Welcome to Pro Moneymakers, the place where we change your view towards the world. You have seen it before. The quiet engineer who solves the hardest problems watches as loud, clueless colleague get promoted first. The politician who can barely form a coherent sentence somehow wins millions of votes. The person in your friend group who talks the most but knows the least ends up leading everyone else. And every time you wonder the same thing. Why does this keep happening? Why do the most capable people so often stay in the shadows while those who seem unqualified rise to the top? Is the system broken, or is it working exactly as designed? For most of your life, you were taught to believe something comforting. That society rewards talent. That the smartest, most capable people naturally rise to positions of power. That those at the top earn their place because they deserve it. It feels safe to believe that. It makes you think someone wiser is steering the ship. Someone who knows where we are headed. Someone competent enough to lead us there. But Aristotle would tell you this belief is an illusion. 2,000 years ago, he warned us about something most people still cannot see today. He saw that society almost never puts its best at the top. And he discovered why. Look around you. In business, in politics, in your own community. How many leaders today truly inspire confidence? How many seem competent enough to guide millions of lives? And how many look more like performers on a stage than architects of the future? This is not an accident. It is not chaos. It is a pattern, a built-in feature of how human societies organize themselves. Aristotle stood in Athens, the birthplace of democracy, and watched ordinary citizens choose their leaders. He listened to the debates in the agora, the crowded square where voices clashed and promises filled the air. People thought they were choosing the best. But Aristotle saw the truth. People were not selecting brilliance, wisdom, or virtue. They were selecting familiarity. They were choosing those who made them feel safe, even when those leaders lacked the competence to guide them forward. And that insight changes everything. If society rewards comfort over competence, if it consistently elevates those who play the role rather than those who have the substance, then maybe we have misunderstood what power really is. Because for Aristotle, power was never about putting the best at the top. It was about keeping the system alive. Aristotle did not just study politics. He studied people. And from observing people, he understood society. In Athens, the birthplace of democracy, citizens gathered to choose their leaders. They debated in crowded squares, argued in long assemblies, and cast their votes, believing they were shaping the future. It was a revolutionary idea. For the first time in history, ordinary people had the power to decide who ruled them. But Aristotle watched these early experiments with sharp, patient eyes, and what he saw disturbed him. The men chosen to lead were rarely the most brilliant. They were rarely the most capable and rarely the most visionary. Aristotle asked himself why. Why would people not want the best among them to lead? Why would they place their collective future in the hands of someone less qualified? The answer, he discovered, was unsettling. Society does not choose leaders to maximize excellence. Society chooses leaders to avoid collapse. To explain this, Aristotle offered one of his most enduring metaphors. He saw society as a living body. Every part of that body has a role. Some parts think like the brain. Some act like the hands. Others protect, nourish, and sustain life. But the heart has a different purpose. Its job is not to invent or to reason. Its job is to maintain the rhythm that keeps the entire organism alive. For Aristotle, leaders are not meant to be the brain. They are meant to be the heart. Their role is not to be the smartest person in the room. Their role is to hold the room together. And this is where the design becomes clear. A brilliant leader who sees too far ahead often pulls society apart. Their ideas threaten established values. Their vision frightens those who cannot keep up. And so sooner or later, the system rejects them. Society, Aristotle argued, has a kind of instinct for self-preservation. It will not follow someone who moves too fast. It will not trust someone who thinks too differently. Instead, it elevates the person who feels safe, the one who reflects the crowd's identity back to them, the one who promises not to shake the foundations too hard. That is why Aristotle believed the best government was not the one run by the smartest individuals, but the one whose leaders match the character, fears, and desires of its people. He wrote, "The best regime is the one that fits its people." And this is not just ancient philosophy. It is the same logic you see today in companies where the likable manager is chosen over the visionary engineer. In politics, where the charismatic speaker wins over the policy expert. Even in small communities where the loudest voice becomes the leader, not the wisest one. This is not failure. This is how the system was designed to survive.